I guess it's not going to count down for me today.
Well,
All right, man. That's fine. We'll roll with the punches.
yeah.
All right. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I got you.
Fantastic. I'll do my intro and we'll get right into it, man.
Cool.
What's up, everybody on YouTube? You are watching the behind the scenes. Let's get started. What's up, guys? Wes the People's Pitmaster back again for another episode of the Smoke Ring Syndicate. It's my weekly barbecue podcast that drops every Wednesday at 5:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Last week, we went up to Canada and chatted all things building grills, building charcoal companies. This week, we're headed down to Texas. We've got the Sausage Sensei in the house. Bill, are you there?
I'm here.
Fantastic. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are listening to us. Hey, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, baby. So the Sausage Sensei, Bill, give me just kind of a brief background on who you are and what led you to barbecue, and then we'll get into becoming a sensei.
Oh, Lord. How long do you have? And that's a loaded thing. I've been in and around this kind of stuff since about 1973, believe it or not.
Okay.
My grandfather, when he retired from the apparel business in North Texas, started his own business, so to speak, and that was char grilling half chickens directly over live coals. And then he made a fast coffee-based barbecue sauce that accompanied those chickens. Being that he was born in about 1915 meant that he was old school, and he looked at me as free labor. So even as a kid, as about 5 or 6 years old, he would put me to work. But as a result of which, I got to spend more time with him than any of the other grandkids. And what he was doing in respect to barbecue really imprinted itself on me. Being he was a salesman and kind of quasi in the business, he knew everybody that were the movers and shakers, old school in North Texas. I can remember going into Sonny Bryan's barbecue on Inwood in Dallas when Mr. Sonny was still living, obviously, and he'd be behind the counter with his white paper hat, his white apron. The place would be packed. My granddad would spend a lot of time in there talking to Sonny Bryan, and that imprinted itself on me. He was also really good friends with Warren Clark, who started Clark's Barbecue in Tioga, Texas, and I've just been in and around all of that my entire life. So it kind of gets into your blood, but I've done a lot of different things. I'm a Marine Corps veteran.
Thank you for your service.
I've been an industrial refrigeration technician. I've been an over-the-road truck driver. Fun fact, I was in New York City and Brooklyn dropping off a load of air conditioners 2 days before 9/11. So, yeah, so that was kind of trippy. But the thing that always brings me full circle is barbecue. And we're talking, that's always been something I've done. That in respect to my professional career, I started working for Smoky Denmark Smoked Meats, which is a USDA inspected and governable and licensed sausage manufacturing facility in East Austin. Excuse me, in East Austin. So Smoky Denmark, that's where I started my professional career. They wanted to get a barbecue food truck up and running to display their wares. I started that in probably 2014. We got some good recognition, as a result of that. After which I was hired by Shane Stiles at Style Switch, and I worked there in that high volume restaurant up there at North Lamar, along with Lance Kirkpatrick, myself, and Alan Michael Jackson. I was there for about 4 years. We brought on Chris McGee, formerly Friedman's. Now he owns his own business, Briskets 512. So it was just a tight group running a Style Switch. But in and amongst all that, one of my really good best friends in the barbecue industry was John Brotherton. John Brotherton was a customer of mine at smoky Denmark. So John and I have always known one another. We're really good friends. He is a brother of mine. So when he wanted to start the sausage program for his restaurant, Brotherton's Black Iron Barbecue in Flukeville, well, it was just a natural thing to happen. And I've been with John for about this January 4 years. So I've been making sausage for the restaurant itself, but in June of 2020, at the height of COVID, you remember those days.
Yeah.
Got a little weird. And I have another friend who is Marto Cicciotti, otherwise known as Max, Texarkana Barbecue, worldwide barbecue consultant. Max himself was grounded. He couldn't travel and do his international barbecue consulting as he could in June of 2020. So Max suggested that I start conducting sausage classes.
Yeah.
Okay, no one's going to be interested in that. Boy, was I wrong. Since June of 2020, I have been booked solid every single Saturday conducting sausage classes unless I'm out on the road. Out on the road means I've been doing a lot of it. This year, I've been all over God's creation. I just got back from Sao Paulo, Brazil, collaborating with Max, Texarkana Barbecue, as well as Murilo Melo of True Bomb Smokers in Sao Paulo. I'm headed out to Heritage Barbecue in San Capistrano this coming week. And then after that, I head to the Monterey Barbecue Festival in Monterey, Mexico, where I'll be at the festival, but I'll also be collaborating directly with Farid and Chewy Omada in Monterey. I'm going to be making a Mako Shark sausage Morisco style during that collaboration. That collaboration is September 29th. The Monterey Barbecue Festival is September 30. And then I've got a lot of sausage classes in between. I have a collaboration with Don over at Koi Barbecue in September. I got to go to Melbourne, Australia for 2 sausage classes there. So this has been the year, man.
Yeah, it sounds like it, man. I know it sounds like you're busier now than you were last year. You and I tried to link up, no pun intended, last year, and I know you were just so busy we couldn't put our schedules together. So I was super surprised that we were able to link up this time. But so where did you pick up your sausage making skills? Or was it just like a trial and error thing and you just have honed that skill set, or did you pick it up anywhere in particular?
Well, here's the thing you got to remember about sausage. So let's just back up for just a half a second.
Okay.
So the sausage that is made traditionally, and that's the key word, tradition, here in Central Texas, is derived and has its roots in Bavaria. That's a fact. Every single sausage made in the state of Texas, Central Texas market style barbecue sausage is what we're talking about. All our City Market, Luling, Prousy's Meat Market in LaGrange, or even all of the sausages that are served at the Plum, Texas Sausage Festival at the St. Peter's and Paul Lutheran Church every year, which is a big, huge sausage festival. I say all that because the sausage itself is derived directly from Bavaria, because who helped settle the frontier of Texas during Spanish colonial rule and during Mexico rule and then during Republic of Texas and then the United States? All of these governing entities who owned Texas capitalized on the feudal system, political unrest that was happening in Bavaria during that time. And they brought thousands and thousands of people over from Bavaria to help settle Central Texas. The first push would have been with Josef Bergman from Czechoslovakia in the 1820s. The second big push would have been in 1848 with Frederick Ernst. So I say all that. So what did all these folks from Bavaria bring with them? Excellent animal husbandry skills, excellent butchery skills, and excellent wurst making skills, sausage. But they could not replicate what they were doing in the old world because differing ingredients and the heat and the climate. What they did here is make it their own. And by making it their own, they created a new subset of sausage or wurst that is indicative and really only found in Central Texas in its truest form. So that's very important to know, because if you think about it in that manner, then you have to soon realize sausage is actually the most important barbecue meat on a tray. It
Mm-hmm.
is. And if we think about what sausage is in of itself, it's one of the oldest food disciplines on this planet, third stone from the sun. The oldest food disciplines are bread and beer, but you would have to fight an ancient Egyptian to figure that one out. But sausage itself is an old discipline.
Yeah.
It has roots. There's ancient archaeological evidence of sausage being made in Mesopotamia 5,000 years BC. There is archaeological evidence of sausage in the ruins of Pompeii. There is a type of sausage being made and consumed in Homer's Odyssey. The word sausage is derived from the Latin word salsus, which means heavily salted. So I guess when you ask, I'm kind of a geek and I'm a nerd when it comes to history. But what I really like to do is I like to tie that historical aspect. What are our cultural, traditional food history, our roots with food, back to history, and tie that together. But if you understand how it's all connected, the history and then the science for how sausage itself is made, because it is a applied food science, then you create things that are just bizarre, weird. But how did I get my start in it? I got my start in it. Well, probably there is no probably. I got my start at Smoky Denmark Smoked Meats, which is USDA licensed commercial sausage manufacturer. But that's on a commercial scale. And a restaurant scale, albeit somewhat smaller scale, that would have been at Style Switch whenever the three of us, Patrick, Chris McGee, and myself, trying to create the sausage program for Style Switch. And we did.
Yeah.
So it really started within those two places, but it really blew up with John Brotherton. And I have to give credit to John and thank you for bringing me on and giving me the, the lead to really let me go out there and do some things and the leverage to make that happen. I mean, I can't speak highly enough about John. But it's been one hell of a ride.
Yeah, absolutely. So are you still in, because I know do you still kind of moonlight with Brotherton, or are you just constantly traveling, constantly building the Sensei brand?
No, what I do is I oversee all of the sausages that are being made for Brotherton's Black Iron Barbecue. So
Okay.
that never stopped. So we make 3 different types of sausages in house. That's a Central Texas hot gun, a mild,
Yeah.
uh, jalapeno cheese sausage, okay, and then a brisket boudin. Those are on the menu every single day, and then we're rotating specials in and out on top of those 3 that I just mentioned. So we're technically making, excuse me, about 4 different types constantly.
Okay.
So I still have complete oversight in all of the sausage production for Brotherton's. But in conjunction with that, and like I said, I have to give credit to John because he allows me to do these things, are the sausage classes, the restaurant consultations, and the collaboration, which I've been busy doing. So the restaurant function never stops. But the good thing is, and it's the old adage, you surround yourself with good people, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have a really, really good helper. She is my right hand, and her name is Brenda, Brenda de la Cruz,
Yeah.
and otherwise known as La Patrona. And she is my right hand. She can do everything that I do. And when I'm away, she takes full responsibility and she owns it, man. And she loves. She absolutely.
Okay. So you're doing collaborations. I think I'd seen your stuff a couple of times, and I think I saw the Thanksgiving sausage a number of years back on TV, and then got another introduction to you with Harry Sue
Yep.
on his channel. Um, so just walk me through as far as your collabs and like what you're when you're creating these sometimes really weird sausages. What I mean, is it just it's just bringing history into that sausage, or is it just trying to be as innovative as possible, like borderline crazy, or like what's your thought process with these new sausages that you do that are outside of what's traditionally Texas sausage?
Yeah. Well, as I mentioned before, sausage is an applied food science. It
Mhm.
operates the same spectrum as that of artisanal baking. Sausage itself is a meat emulsion. You have to understand the science for which it is in order to construct it properly. Once you understand how to construct it properly, and once you understand the science in of itself, then you can take any proposed dish, doesn't matter what it is, and consider how the ingredients of that proposed dish interface with the science of sausage and its creation. You could
Mhm.
take that, explode that dish apart, and reassemble it in a tube, which is sausage. So that's what I like to do. And remember what Salvador Dali himself said. The artist Salvador Dali himself said that an excellent artist should be able to take the most abstract and normal ingredients and create something truly exceptional.
Yeah.
That's what Dali himself said. So if you think about it, food is art. Art is food. But in our case, it's consumable art. And
Yeah.
when you consume that art becomes one of you. It becomes a part of you. Correct?
Yeah.
So that's how I like to look at it. It's art. It's not just food. It's art. So you have to think about it in that abstract sense. So it's not in the case of just thinking of something weird. It's thinking
Mhm.
about art, and you
Yeah.
think of a proposed dish, and it becomes a challenge.
Awesome. So that's kind of where I thought you were going to go. Um, your your reasoning behind stuff is super fascinating to me, and your just your knowledge of your craft is like almost mind blowing. I don't know if that's just your when you go into something you go all the way in, or what the reasoning is behind that. But man, it's this super fascinating. Um, so you're doing the sausage classes. You're overseeing sausage being made at a restaurant level. You're doing collabs. Um, when do you sleep?
Not much here lately because the brain never shuts off. It's gotten to the point now where I come home from the restaurant and I'm still working. I'm still thinking of different menu ideas, different sausage ideas, trying to keep the ball rolling in respect to sausage classes,
Yeah,
uh, etc. But back in the collaborations for just a moment, if I
yeah,
may.
yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
if we're talking about food as an art, right, for which it is, then inspiration actually comes from other people,
Hmm.
right? So let's just say you're a musician and you're on stage and you're a guitar player. How many times have you been to a really good concert and they bring out a special guest? Let's just say it's Steve Vai, and Steve Vai brings out Dweezil Zappa, right?
Hmm.
And they start feeding off of one another. You know, Steve
Yeah,
Vai playing these licks, Dweezil Zappa starts getting into, and they start feeding off each other. Well, it works the same way in chef land, right? When
yeah,
two together, it's that inspiration collaboratively that feeds ideas and it's sharing of information, which creates new ideas, creates things that are even more exciting than they once were. So collaborations for me are like food for the soul, food for the mind. So,
yeah,
and I love working with talented folks, and we've been lucky enough here lately to really work with some fantastic people. We just had the collaboration with John Bates and his crew at Interstellar. As I mentioned, we're going to be doing the collaboration with Fareed and Shuya at Nomada, Mexico. But it's this exchange of ideas that for me is vastly more inspirational than anything I can think of.
Yeah. Well, it's and with the collaboration, I guess it's almost like, getting to see someone else's expression of their art, which
Yeah.
kind of feeds to yours and just makes it, something completely different because it's coming from them, and it's different than what you're doing. So, how many? We're talking about sausage classes. You mentioned you just got back from Brazil. You'll be in Mexico for quite some time. You'll be in Australia. How many countries do you think you've checked off your list
Well,
thus far? And and you've been doing sausage for I know a little bit more than 10 years, right?
yeah, professionally, yeah.
Okay. So how many in just a 10-year span, which I know the end of it has kind of been accelerated, and we're in the we've just taken off with you here, and you've not, I don't think you've reached full speed, and you've already kind of like just blown up, and you're all over the world now.
I'm truly, I'm blessed. Truly, there are people more deserving than I. Yes, I think we can agree with that. So it's a manner of being blessed by the good Lord above. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So truly, I'm blessed. So thank you. But nonetheless, uh, man, I don't know. I'm waiting on Papua New Guinea. I really want to do something about Papua New Guinea. No, I'm kidding. I don't want to do that. No, but I mean, this year in itself is where the international travel is kind of really taken off. And
Mm-hmm.
that speaks to something a little bit more broadly, though, doesn't it? It's fascinating to me, the breadth and the scope and the popularity of Central Texas barbecue worldwide. We're not talking about KC. We're not talking about Tennessee. We're not talking about any other form of barbecue. It's the simple, humble Central Texas barbecue that just exploded like a bomb worldwide. And I find that fascinating. When we were in Brazil recently with their wonderful, beautiful traditions of beef and meats that were beautiful down there. But their interest in what we do here is breathtaking, and
Yeah.
I find what they do breathtaking. But I don't know, as I mentioned before, it's like I like to collaborate with people and share those ideas. And I love travel. I love traveling, and I love seeing different cultures and trying different foods. But it's that entire journey.
Yeah. So do you? Because obviously most everybody is wanting that Central Texas barbecue, or Central Texas link, and that brisket sausage, or that Texas style sausage. So when they're bringing you in, you're doing the Texas style sausage. Does it feel like you're painting the same picture each time, or is there, what's your thought with that?
Well, no, it doesn't, because it really kind of hard when you're doing just the classic one, right?
Uh
You're
huh.
still respecting and honoring the time tested traditions. That never goes away, and it never is going to lose its relevance. We know that.
Yeah.
But let's just say that when I go to another country, for example, what I like to do is to look around me and consider what is culturally significant in their food tradition. And then I like to take what I do, and pull it inside out and respect and honor them. So
Yeah.
in Brazil, we just made a feijoada sausage with
Mm-hmm.
every single element of the feijoada inside that sausage. In Monterrey, Mexico last year, I tried to respect their culture by making a salchicha de chiquitana, which is ant. It's a giant leaf cutter ant
Yeah.
that's hard selected. This is pre-Columbian, right?
Mm-hmm.
And ants are the food of Montezuma, right? The food of Aztec Mayans. So I took those ants and I incorporated those with a really good adobo. We made that sausage and served it at the barbecue festival last year, and blew my
Yeah.
because respected that culture. So wherever I go, I like to land on the ground and I like to figure out what's important in respect to their food, history, and culture, and respect that and honor it and blow it up and put it inside the sausage.
Hmm. So your collaboration sausages, your innovation sausages, that's that's happening within a matter of hours or days, even. Yeah.
Sure. Yep. Yep. Yeah. In respect to Brazil, we'll just go back to the most recent one, Brazil. So when I landed in Brazil, we went to the central market, the Mercado Municipal de Sao Paulo, which is a huge market just like Sao Paulo. But unbeknownst to me, the guy who is my guide, Paulo Yoler, and Paulo is one of the most celebrated chefs in all of Sao Paulo. Unbeknownst to me, and he's leading me. Well, I know it now, and he's a really humble guy. He's like me. If you put two of us in the same room, watch out.
Yeah.
Incredible. He's amazing. But nonetheless, we were walking through the market and we just exchanging ideas. What is this market? What is that in the market? And we just came together and we figured out that one of the most important dishes in Brazil is feijoada, right? And what would it take to put that together? So we collected all of our ingredients as they were in the market otherwise and made it happen. But again, here we go again. It's sharing and an exchange of ideas, but between two, we'll just say, but between two people of like mind in the culinary field, and we're here in this country and we're considering these ingredients that we can collaborate with and respect and honor traditions in a tube in sausage. It's so inspirational.
Yeah. So yeah, that keeps you hungry, I think. And you seem to be a big history guy, so the tradition of the sausage, I don't anticipate you ever get tired of.
No.
Um, do when you're doing these sausage classes, and are you experimenting with any kind of other casings other than just like a traditional like intestinal, or are you doing anything crazy on that end?
Well, no, the sausage classes themselves are geared towards the full on explanation of the science itself.
Hmm.
So I'm a why person. If you tell me something, I'm going to ask you why,
Yeah.
right? When a
Yeah.
mechanic at an engine and it's knocking, let's say it's making a funny noise, in order to diagnose the problem, he's going to ask why, discover the why in order to right
Yeah.
proceed. Well,
Yeah.
that's how I approach everything. I approach everything by the why. So, in respect to the classes themselves are science and process based, not recipe based. Sausage
Okay.
is not about recipe; it's about science and process. So, what we do in classes is we explain in 50 different ways the science to the process to the root base. That is the breadth of the class itself. So that is at root base level, right?
Yeah.
And then we build up from there. So the saucers that we make during class are usually pretty standard, you know.
Yeah.
So we get exotic with that. There's no point in that. We're trying to explain the science to the process to the root base, not go off on tangents because you
Yeah.
can't go off on the tangent unless you understand basic
Yeah.
construction.
Yeah.
In other words, I can give you a brand new Gibson Les Paul Custom, and I can give you a very nice Vox AC30 amplifier, but that is not going to turn you into Jeff Beck. It's
Yeah.
not going to turn you into Eric Clapton. You have to understand the principles of that instrument and has the the notes, the chords, the scales transpose themselves through that instrument. And as you learn that instrument, notes, the scales, the chords, then at some point it becomes you and you become it. It's
Yeah.
the same way here.
Yeah. Then at some point you're good enough to where you're playing by ear, and the same kind of concept. At some point you're making sausage by ear, you understand it on on a molecular level, and you understand the ratios that you've got to have for it to hold together, and what does and doesn't work together. And I mean, I think it was uh, the al pastor sausage that was probably my most, well, I take that back. I saw the Bernie Mac sausage earlier. Um, but the al pastor sausage with the pineapple in it it blows my mind, because I know what the enzymes in pineapple do to meat, and I'm like, how do you do that? You know, so like it's like I know it's gonna be good, but like, how do you do that? So I love to see the innovation and the different stuff that you come up with. Um, your I guess probably the biggest, I don't want to say, I guess you call it going, your viral sausage, your Thanksgiving sausage that seems to pop up every year and has such, everybody's either going, oh, it would be delicious, or oh, that's terrible, or that's fake. Is that just something that just makes you smile every time you see in Thanksgiving, come Thanksgiving?
Well, I mean, that one, oh man, when did I start making that? I don't even know. But it was just, kind of has a lark because that one happened. You got to do something Thanksgiving holiday, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we make that, and no matter the sausage, you're always going to have people that are, if it's this sausage or that creation, some flavor profiles tend to be a little bit more polarized than the next, but that's okay. You take it in stride. There's a reason why Golden Corral exists. You know what I mean? But you can't please everybody. So I don't try to. I try to make things that are important to me, that inspire me, and then hope people like it.
Yeah. So you do sausage for you, and if somebody else likes it, so be it.
So be it. Right.
So we we're doing international travel starting this year. Um, do you see creating? I mean, like, obviously you're teaching people the skill set to be a sausage maker. What do you see your next step being, or is this, you're just going to keep flying around the world and keep seeing different places, or I mean, do you do a book? Do you do a TV show? What do you think would be your, the top of the mountain?
That's a good question. Except simply to say that I would like to spread the gospel, of artisanal sausage making worldwide. So, whatever medium that takes. Uh, I'm not a real big IT person, so I know
Mhm.
there's a lot of folks that are really making excellent, excellent sausage instructional videos. Two guys and a cooler, that's one. And then another one is Brad, Chud, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Uh, and then amongst others, but those are the two best ones I can think of. I'm not your guy with video stuff. I would have to have a helping hand to do that.
Yeah.
I'm and I just don't have the editing skills or the patience. I would love to. To answer your question, I would love to do video stuff, but I just don't have the knowledge or the skill set or the patience to make that happen. I'm smart enough to know that the way that things are trending in society and as popular as things are in video sequence, that's important. So that's an avenue I should discover and explore. There's that. Uh, I am working on a book project. Surprise. Uh, I already have the pictures for the most part in the can. Uh, my photographer, I hope he doesn't mind I mention, is Jeremy Brand. Uh, Jeremy's a really good friend of mine. If you've seen any of the photographs connected with mill scale
Uh-huh.
or country, then Jeremy Brand's pictures.
Yeah.
Uh, Jeremy and I have been working together. Basically, the book itself is going to tie in Texas history, Texas sausage history, because those two combined, when we're talking about the sausage itself, as well as elements of the process and science of sausage making itself.
Okay.
And pictures, as I mentioned, taken by Jeremy, are going to exhibit movement too. They're not static two-dimensional pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So each step of the process has a really well thought out photograph that exhibits movement, which exemplifies that method in the process. Make sense?
Yeah.
So that's the book project in a nutshell. So that's happening. I did have someone come around, sniff around the other day from TV. Who knows what's going to happen there? I don't know. You keep yourself open. In other words, I think it's just you keep yourself open to what comes around. And if it makes sense, and if you're feeling it in a way, and do it.
Yeah.
What's called adage, make hay while the sun's shining.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I'm kind of curious about that. And folks can find you at sausagesensei.com, right?
Yeah.
And they can book classes. You're booking out how far in advance right now?
Well, the sausage classes themselves, first come, first serve. I really only do those on Saturday. They're 1-to-1 or 1-to-2, no more than 2 people per class, because I feel that's important. Folks, if they're paying their good hard money, they need to have a good return on their investment, right?
Yeah.
No matter. So I have no more than 2 people in each class because I want intensive focus on the student itself. And it helps me too to stay focused. But not only that, but the sausage classes themselves are booked through sausagesensei.com. First come, first serve. They're held on every Saturday unless I'm on the road. It's one-stop shop. You look at the available date on the calendar via the website. You like it, you hit it, you pay it, and you're done, and you're scheduled.
Okay.
So that's how that works. So it's
Now,
perpetual.
yeah.
But now I'm booked solid into 2024.
Okay.
I don't have any open dates right now, but don't let that dissuade you. Book for 2024. Now, here's another half of it. My business partner on the West Coast in California is Harry Sue.
Okay.
Slap Yo Daddy Barbecue. So once a quarter, I will go out to Harry Sue's and I will conduct sausage classes at Harry's.
Okay.
And I've done that for about a year now, a little over a year, actually. So once a quarter at Harry's, and the information for those classes on the West Coast are found on Harry's website, slapyodaddyBarbecue.com. And you can sign up. The next class I have at Harry's is going to be December 10.
Okay. So that's coming up if it's not already booked up. It may be booked up soon. Sounds like a delicious Christmas present to me, or Hanukkah or whatever holiday, whichever first holiday comes that I can get sausage. I'm good with that holiday too.
Halloween.
It's a Halloween holiday sausage.
Hey, candy corn sausage.
We need to talk afterwards. I did a candy corn rib last year, and it was delicious. So they're booking classes. Are they coming out to your place, or are you traveling to all these places? Obviously, I know the international you're flying out, but as far as equipment, are you flying with equipment, or are they coming to Texas to do the class? How does that work?
No, the sausage classes booked on my website are held in our facility at Brotherton's Black Iron Barbecue.
Okay.
Sausage bookings via the website come to me in Pflugerville, and we have our own independent meat production and sausage production facility adjacent to the restaurant, separate from the restaurant, with professional equipment. So if you book through sausagesensei.com, that's coming to me in Pflugerville, Texas at Brotherton's. Otherwise, you're going to contact me and we'll work something out, either through collaboration or offsite. Harry Sue being excluded, right? Because I have equipment at Harry Sue's, right? we got together, and all of my equipment's parked at Harry's. Now,
Yeah.
if I to, let's say, like recently in Sao Paulo, right? What Murillo had to do, and by the way, I've got an important announcement too with that. So, and when I was at Murillo's, Murillo bought sausage equipment for the class. So it's still down there in Brazil. So I'll try. In other words, I have a punch list, right, of needed equipment and needed supplies and needed ingredients, and that gets up channeled to the appropriate person wherever I'm going. It's very special stuff. That's just the way the rubber ball bounces, but it's okay because the person that's making that investment in this equipment there, wherever that may be, well, now they have the equipment to properly do it, right? Yeah. So that's good. Let's talk about Murillo for just a second.
Okay.
I think it's fair to say, I could go ahead and say it now, that I have my own line of barbecue smokers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's happening. So I searched high and low, and I found that Murillo and his team down there in Brazil were their level of detail and the level of thought is just, I don't even know how to define it. They're artists of fire and steel.
Yeah.
Let me say that again. They're artists of fire and steel. These guys, their minds are so precise. I've never in my life seen people this precise with what they're doing. And it's works of art with these pits. So I have my own pit that's going to be loaded on a shipping container. It's coming over here to the United States. I cooked on it a couple weeks ago now, down at the, during our class in Brazil.
Yeah.
And it's a cabinet pit that's specially designed for sausage. So it's a collaborative design between myself and the good folks at True Bomb. It runs even, nose to tail, perfectly. It's a cabinet, indirect, from the bottom up and then up to flue, with removable racks for which to hang the sausage. It'll handle about 150 to 200 pounds of sausage in one throw. And we will be bringing it to Texas. It's coming, and I am going to display Haskell at Texas Monthly Barbecue Festival.
Okay.
And Murillo himself will be here.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I saw when you were down in Brazil, I was like, I kind of feel like I'm reading, maybe I'm reading into this too far. I said, but I feel like this is a Sausage Sensei smoker. Say that 3 times fast. So I was kind of I don't know if you want to say it, ahead of the thought process. I was like, I feel like this might be a collaboration that may come to pass. So that's super exciting. So when you think when you go to play baseball, you go regular, you go through the park and rec, you go to AAA, then you go to the big leagues. Do you think you've arrived at the big leagues?
No,
No,
not at all. Because it's the continual pursuit of excellence that keeps you humble.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
I will never in my life think that I've ever achieved any kind of certain plateau. It's just me doing what I love to do and inspiring others and teaching others. Because if I can somehow inspire and teach others, then 2 things happen. The craft lives on, and then part of me lives on, right? Yeah. And that's keeping that tradition and that inspiration moving forward. And that's how I look at it.
Okay. So it's, you're leaving a mark. You certainly are leaving a mark on sausage and barbecue in and of itself. No doubt that you'll end up in the Hall of Fames for barbecue. If before everything's said and done, I'm sure.
Well, we hope. As I said before, we try to do our best. We put the best quality product that we can out there and hope that folks respond to it and like it. At the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's about keeping your clients and customers happy. And it's also about keeping the traditions and the skill set alive. That's what it's about.
Absolutely. So, just a silly question here. If I'm coming to the Brotherton's facility for your class, how much sausage should I expect to be able to eat?
We'll fill you up like a big old gray dog tick until you pop. So,
Awesome, man.
the fella yesterday, he came in from Calgary, Canada. Really nice guy. And you know what? I've had people from all over the world, but I filled that guy up. But I've had people from all over the world. I've had a guy from Shanghai, China. I'd say I'd say 5 of the current Texas Monthly top 50 barbecue establishments have been through our doors to learn how to make sausage. That's pretty cool. I don't want to name names. That would be bad. So we're not going to do that. But that's a point of pride, I guess. I mean, of some sort.
Oh, yeah.
But we've had people from all over Shanghai, China, Australia for sure. I believe Perth it was, Finland. It's just crazy. My very most favorite one. There was a guy that came in that was a very quiet, unassuming gentleman. He beat me to the shot by about an hour. I'll condense it. After I'm a veteran, and I turned out he was a veteran. But to boil it all down, this guy has the distinction of having been the oldest person to ever go through Army medic school, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. But then he started dropping little hints, without no ego or anything else, no ego whatsoever.
Yeah.
And about Mogadishu, about Syria, about this place or that place, and then jump wings, diving bell, Bronze Star with the V for valor.
Yeah.
Turns out he wasn't just an Army medic; he was a Special Forces SOG medic. He could stealthily track me down, kill me, revive me, put me back together, and then kill me again.
He could turn you into sausage.
Or hey, now he could turn you into sausage.
Well, you were talking about blowing it apart and then putting it back together. It sounds like he's a sausage, going to be a sausage pro himself. So, we have anything upcoming for the Sausage Sensei outside of the classes that are booked solid and going out to the West Coast? Anything that we should be on the lookout for from the Sausage Sensei?
Well, the project, I need to put a wooden stake in its heart and bring that to fruition, as I mentioned. So we'll be working diligently, I hope, this fall. Of course, the aforementioned sausage smoker. Watch out for that. And there's a few other surprises. And then, just a little bit about that too, to further expound, if I may. I believe in these so much that I want to get these guys out there so they're more widely known. And because I truly believe in what they're doing in respect to the type of pits and the level of quality that they're making. Murillo and those guys are just awesome. So I want them to be more widely. But anyway, the pit project itself, ongoing sausage classes. I do keep it updated pretty well on the website, for collaborations and where I'm going to be on the road. So that's illustrated on the website via tour dates.
Yeah.
So it's tour dates, kind of like when you look up your favorite band, it says tour dates.
Yeah.
So there's that. So I kind of keep that updated. Other than that, it's just keeping the ball rolling at Brotherton's, and and I just have to give a shout out to John Brotherton, because there's not too many people in this industry that would allow me, who's essentially working for him, to do this. And that just speaks to John, doesn't it? You've met John, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think John Brotherton is probably one of the most respected, most honest people in this industry. It's almost like the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Everybody knows him. And he's got a platinum platinum reputation. So I just can't speak highly enough about John Brotherton.
Yeah, absolutely, and as you should. I mean, that's kind of catapulted you um, into your sausage fame, and then right back down to come be on my show. But you'll be right back up, I'm sure. Man, Bill, I sure appreciate your time. I'll let you get out of here. Guys, the sausagesensei.com. It's along the bottom of the screen if you're watching this live. And check the Sausage Sensei out and look out for the book. Look out for the smoker. Real excited to see what Bill does in the coming months and years. Bill, I appreciate it. Thank you for your time, buddy.
Thank you.
And that'll put this week's episode of the Smoke Ring Syndicate in the books. Shout out to our guest this week, the Sausage Sensei, Bill out of Texas, making sausage all over the world. Guys, if you've enjoyed this week's episode, I would appreciate a review, a like, a share. Find somebody that loves barbecue just as much as you do and share the show and share the love of barbecue. And until next time, keep smoking. All right, buddy. Thanks so much.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I appreciate it, brother, man.
Absolutely, man.
Where does it go from here?
This is live on Facebook. Matter of fact, they're still seeing it. That would have been the end of the Spotify episode. So yours will release not this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. And then I'll cut this clips up. It'll be on YouTube Shorts. It'll be on TikTok, a couple videos, reels on Facebook's, Instagrams. The audio will go to Spotify, my website, the Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, all those.
So in other words, you have some editing to do.
I got a lot of work to do. and I just finished one from Sean Bevins. He is a smoker builder up in Canada. Yeah. So I just did his, and his is about halfway through.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. Don't take that lightly. I truly appreciate you having me on. It means a lot.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much. And next time we're going to do it in person.
Yeah. You know where to find me.
All right, buddy. Thanks so much.
Later.
Bye.